right. So everybody's been asking me, how did it come to be that Saquon Barkley's parents wore a Bungee USA jersey to last Sunday's game? Like, how did it all happen?
I'm not going to lie to you. I would like to take all the credit for it and make it seem like I was just this magnificent person. But it didn't happen like that. All I really did was just made a post with Charlie Mack wearing the jersey. And then Saquon's mother actually reached out to me. So she DM'd me and then asked if it was possible for her to be able to buy a jersey. And I was like, absolutely not. You're not going to buy this jersey. I'll give it to you. You're the mother of the great SB. So I actually told her that I was going to pay for it myself and I would give it to her. She ended up hitting me back and was like, can you get one for my husband as well? So it ended up working out really good. So, yeah, they ended up wearing it, and they look good. They did send some pictures, and the pictures blew up on our Instagram page.
Yeah. So what is it like? Like, well, also, I guess we should say, which is as interesting, is that you designed that white cashmere. Are we calling it a jersey or a robe? What are we calling it?
I call it a jersey. I know a lot of people are saying it looks like a bathrobe, but it's a jersey to me.
But I remember when you designed it and you did the mock-up of it and you texted it to me and you were like, I don't know if anybody's going to like this, but I love it. And that happens so often. Like you're not sure when you think it's too much, I think it's just enough.
That's what I'm noticing. But then it's like I always hate to hear people say, I really, really like that. And it looks good on you, but I would never be able to pull that off. And it's like, I don't like to hear that, and it makes me feel like I did too much. But
I don't know. It's almost sold out. That piece is almost sold out. So I think a lot of people feel that way. But what is it when and you wore that? You wore the sample to tailgates, and people were coming up to you wanting it, right?
It doesn't really matter what piece that I wear out there, but that Saquon Barkley piece was like the one that made everyone come up to me like, what is that? Where did you get that? And I just hand out my business card. Here, BungeeUSA.com, BungeeUSA.com. Yeah. They all come to me. So I don't have to really do too much promotion. I don't have to do too much selling. It's just me just putting it on and just walking, and everyone comes up to me.
So, and this started last year, right, with Bungee USA, when you did the Kelly green jersey and the white jersey, and it was, people had never seen anything like that before. And then with the poncho and the suit of armor, like this suit of armor, I remember when you texted it to me and you were like, I think it might be too much. And I was like, nah.
Right. That suit of armor, man, that thing has been like such a huge headache for me, man, because, when I first designed it, I knew that it was a great piece. I just knew that it was great. And then it was like we had the removable shoulder pads. We had all these different things. I actually even created a helmet that could be removable. And when it came time for the manufacturing of it, I just ran through so many problems with the manufacturer that it didn't come out the way that I wanted it. It's always like that. But then it's like, it made it where where it basically got to the point where the shoulder pads weren't removable, because if you snap it too hard, you can mess something up. So now it looks like shoulder pads. You can unsnap them, but they're kind of difficult to unsnap. So.
Well, the snaps are decorative, right? Like they're not functional.
Right. But they weren't made to be that way. I originally made it to make it where you can remove the shoulder pads. So.
Right. And then you wore it to that, again, you were with Charlie Mack at that event, right? Where the original Yeah. What was that? I forget what that was.
I think that was draft night.
Oh.
And we went out there to the Eagle Stadium to do draft night, and all the fans went crazy. That was the first viral video that we ever did, was that shirt.
Now, but what do you think about, because people, clearly football jerseys have been around forever, right? People have been wearing jerseys. So what did you want to do? Like, what, you're doing all this stuff that's like different. What was your motivation? Why did you think people would be into this?
I really didn't do it for everyone else. I did it for me. My dad is a diehard Eagles fan, so it was like whenever I would try to go to the mall or try to go to any of these stores or try to buy him something for Christmas or for his birthday, because his birthday is right near Christmas, I could never find anything else after I already bought him 20 years worth of Eagles merch. It was the same thing, just recycled. So I just basically just tried to create something that's never been seen before. That was my only motivation.
So because you're sort of reinventing the jerseys and fan gear in general, what is your design process? How do you think of these crazy things?
Oh man, I don't know. I just try to do things differently, and then a lot of times I may take like a combination of something and put it all into one. So when we did the Dawkins jersey over the summer, I basically remembered going to like a golf gas station and seeing the gas attendant wearing like a golf shirt. And I was like, man, it'd look kind of slick if we put, Brian in there and then have the number 20. And, we just kind of just kept, I just kept going through that. Like, just trying to figure out ways to be able to put 2 or 3 things into one item.
But, like, what about the face mask, the new fit? Because that is crazy. It's so cool. It's so unique. Like, with the, so what were your inspirations for that?
When it came time for the ski mask, I wanted to try to incorporate a jersey into a ski mask. So that's why I ended up having the number 1 with his name on it and stuff like that. And then also the Saquon Barkley one that we did. I just really wanted to be able to make it look like there was a jersey plastered on the side of the hat. And when I designed it, it came out so good that I was like, we have to get this done. And I remember I sent it over to you, and I was like, I don't think we're going to have enough time to get it back before the season is over. And you was like, get it done. You have to get it done. So fortunately we were able to get it done, and when I wore it out to the tailgate last week, man, people were going crazy over that thing. It was a cool thing. I just love the fact that when I design stuff, the people go crazy for it, and that's what makes me feel really good and inspired.
But what is your design process like? I think people see you on social media and they think you're like a party all the time, and you're not.
Not at all. Not at all. That's a big mistake that a lot of people make, where they think that I'm just this party animal. I'm just messing with all these women and I'm doing all these crazy things, and it's nothing like that. It's like, I'm very, very basic.
But you're fun, but like you're so about business.
Absolutely. Business comes first. I don't have time to play around. But my design process is just very simple. I think of something and I sketch it out. And, sometimes I may have to.
Do you still sketch it on paper first?
I go all the way back to the way that it was when I first started sketching. I sketch it on paper first, take a screenshot of it with my phone, and then I upload it to my system, and then I put colors and lines and all that stuff on it, and then I get it to the manufacturer. So that's how steps are.
So when you design, because I'm a writer, you're a designer, like it's creative process. Do you listen to music? Do you have people around you? Like, what is your process?
Believe it or not, I think that most of the time when I design stuff, I'm always in a hurry, so I don't have time to be able to light candles and try to go through a whole ritual. It's like, as soon as I think of it, I sketch it. It doesn't matter if, I'm watching a football game. It doesn't matter if I'm watching a movie. Most of the time, my TV is only just on speaking back to me. I know the last time I said that, you thought that it was funny, like speaking to you, but it's like, I'm not even watching
TV. The TV watches you.
Right. So I'm not watching TV. The TV watches me. And I'm basically it doesn't matter where I'm at, I sketch. If I have an idea when I'm in the car, I'll literally pull over and do a quick draft on something, and then I'll finish it up later on. So I don't really have like a thing that I do when it comes time for designing. When it comes to my head, I sketch it.
Well, for me, I write in the morning before the emails start, or the emails might be there, but I can ignore them for a while. And like, I need quiet. I need like silence. I get easily distracted.
Right.
So I need quiet, and I need like a good chunk of time, like about an hour, because I'm going to write something. And also I do a draft. If it's just like regular correspondence or something, I don't think about it that hard. But if I'm writing a story, if it's fiction or nonfiction, like I need to do a couple drafts of it. So I'll write it as a draft, and then I let it sit, and then I'll come back to it, hopefully the next day. Hopefully I have that much time, and then I edit and I edit. I always say the writing is in the editing. So like making changes to something, and like it might have sounded really good yesterday, and today I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So that's my process. Do you ever like go back to your sketches and be like, oh, I like this from here and this from here, or do you just get it out all at once?
I usually get it out all at once, but sometimes I will take like an idea that I created before and then add that to it if I never used it, or I may take a piece from something else and add it all in there. So I don't usually get sold on the very first time that I do something, but that ski mask, I did it once and it was over. The Barkley jersey, I did it once and it was over. So everything that's like my big hits is usually one and done. But then all the ones that are a little bit like, I've actually messed around with it a lot more than I should have. So I think that my winning formula is whatever comes to mind, sketch it and put it out.
And once it's out on paper, you can evaluate it, right? Like if it just lives in your head, it's kind of like you don't capture it in that moment, I think, right?
Not at all.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you can actually think of something and have it in your head, and then you'll forget when you actually take the time to sit down. So you want to try to get rid of it as soon as possible as far as like getting it put on paper. And that goes for anything with me. It goes for marketing plans. It goes for how I'm going to do it.
Well, what about music? You used to write music and lyrics. What was your process then?
It was definitely like pretty much the same thing. Like a lot of times I would go to the studio and I would write my verses right there at the studio. So the music is playing, there's people running around, I would just write right there in front of everyone. Or sometimes I would just get a beat, go home and just write it. Or sometimes I'll be in my car and I'll hear a beat and I just like kind of record in my mini recorder, like just go off the top of my head, and then I'll go edit everything when I get to the studio. So it's a couple different ways that I did music, but the music thing is totally different than the way that I designed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How so?
I just think that the process of it is different. I think that at the end of the day, the accolades at the end is what I like and what I thrive for. It's like, when I played a good song and people be like, oh man, that song is good, blah, 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 or it's great or whatever. It gives me the same feeling when people say that they love my merchandise. It's the same exact feeling. So, I definitely, I'm very excited about how people feel about the difference between my brand and what else has been out there. It's crazy.
But it's so weird because for writing, or like it brings to mind for me the commerce side of creativity. Because for Bungee USA, for the company to be successful, people have to buy the merchandise.
Right.
However, ideally, like I can be a writer and never sell anything and I could still be a great writer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So like there's plenty of great painters and whatever else that like they may never sell anything. Mm-hmm. They do it just because they love their craft.
Right.
So it's interesting, and I think it's a big difference between Bungee USA and your original company, Bungee Brand, that like who the market is for all that. Like it's just so different,
Yeah.
But the commerce side, like, and that's how it always is, right? Like if it's a movie or if it's a song, like it goes by like how many people bought it, how many tickets did they sell. Like it doesn't, there could be smaller movies that are great, but nobody goes to see it. Just like there are maybe independent designers, if nobody buys the stuff, it's hard to keep that going.
Well, I sure wish that I can design whatever I want to design and I have to worry about sales. I would be incredible. I would be an incredible designer. So I really think that could happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a pressure, right? Because what you design, you have to sell. So like, it can't be too, I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I feel like when I design something, it can't be too over the top, but it has to be enough over the top to be different from everything else that people have seen. Because if I just would have made just a regular jersey or just a regular shirt, no one would care about it. But every single time I walk through that tailgate, people are approaching me either saying, I love that. Where'd you get that? How did you get it? Who did it? Where did it come from? Like I get that every single week when I go out to the tailgates, no matter what item that I wear from Bungee. And that's what I'm looking for. So whenever I design something, I can't just do just a regular shirt with just a regular, Eagles.
Well, in fact, like I feel like some of the not original Bungee stuff, but like some of the stuff really and was not completely in your vibe. Some of the like Bungee Alston stuff. You had other people working for you who were designer, and I love those things, but like it's very different from what you're doing now. For
sure. At that time, when I had the designers helping me with Bungee Alston, I was so focused on the sneakers and I was so focused on trying to run the business that eventually I ended up bringing people in to help design the sneakers and help design the clothing. So it wasn't necessarily me, but I trusted those designers to
Yeah.
bring that type of audience to Bungee brand. So that's the reason why I let it go. But now I feel so much better knowing that I'm putting my design work on stuff and making it my situation, and I trust it, and I believe in it, and I've loved the fact that people are believing in it as well. So it's just a really good vibe for me. I love it. I love what's going on. I love what's happening in the city right now too. Philly is on fire right now.
It's such a great confluence of like fashion edgy. I would say Bungee USA is a little bit edgy fashion wise, right? Wouldn't you say that?
Right.
Edgy fashion, edgy city.
Yeah. The thing I love
It's like,
about what's going on with Bungee right now is the fact that, usually when you do any kind of strategy on trying to sell something, you have, your certain audience, your target audience that you're going for. And when it comes time for this merchandise, I have the strangest people that I would never think would buy this type of thing buy it. So if it didn't say Eagles on it, I don't think that a lot of these people would actually buy it,
but it's so many Eagles fans looking. If they want to wear their jersey that they've worn for 30 years, that's fine.
Yep. Yep.
But if you want something that's fashion forward, I think the surprising thing is how many people do want something that's fashion forward, right? And it's not like black, white, Asian. Everybody's green.
That's it. That's what I love about it. Like, most of the time when you try to create like a brand or a sneaker or something like that, I always get hit with the urban. It's urban, it's urban, it's urban. And it's like with this.
What is urban code for black?
Pretty much. And black people will probably like it, and that's who your audience is. And when it comes time for the Eagle stuff, there is no urban. There is no and the thing that I also love about this is the fact that no one cares about my story. No one cares about the fact that I was, incarcerated or any of that. All they care about is this item is hot, I want it, and they buy it. And I love that because that's all I really wanted in the first place.
Yeah, because in the beginning of Bungee, or this iteration of Bungee, there was a lot of focus on your jail story.
Right.
And that you had just started designing, and it felt like people were like, they would connect with that story, and then when they would get a shoe, they would be like, oh my God, it is really good quality.
Right,
and it's like, yeah. They were like, oh, I come for the jail story, but I stay for the merchandise, know? And now it's the other way around.
Yeah. So now people are like,
they're like, who's Darrell Alston? We don't even know.
We're getting thousands of new followers. They have no idea who I am because they're seeing all these other people wearing the merch. So it's like all they care about is that Philadelphia merchandise. They could care less about me. So,
which is great, right?
It's definitely great. It's definitely great.
It means the brand is bigger than you.
Right. And that's what we always wanted.
Right. I remember there was one comment was like, why do you keep using the same model? I was like, that's not a model. That's the guy who owns the company.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I would have been cracking up if I'd have saw that. Yeah.
But there are some people who comment negatively.
Of course. You're always going to get that. Every time, I'm the kind of person I can get 1,000 people that say something positive. And I get that one person to say something negative, and I just have to go see who it is. And most of the time, it's a person that has 58 followers. You know what I mean? They're following 14,000 people, and it's like no one's giving them the time of day, so they'll come on my page and say something negative. In my point of view, if I'm scrolling down my timeline, if I see something I don't like, I'm just going to keep it moving. I don't have to take the time out to go comment something negatively about it. Why? So I always look at it like if people are coming on saying something negative, it's because they want a little bit of attention, and they're not going to get it from me. I don't even waste my time even checking it anymore. That was in the beginning.
But you don't delete those comments.
I leave them on there. Let them have fun. I don't really care about that. It is.
Yeah. But what do you think? Also, I think some people, I think it's been cool to see some people connect when they see you wearing something, even what you're wearing right now.
Right.
Not everybody would pull that off, right?
Yeah.
But it's the individuality of it.
And that's what I like. Because my thing is, I've never been the kind of person to see someone wear something and I say I have to have it. I look at things and I'm like, okay, this is me. I'm going to wear it, and this is how I'm going to wear it. I've never been a follower of anything. So you may see me in the strangest things possible. But I really don't care. I'm going to wear what I want. So,
Well, how do you think people, because people do say like, oh, he could wear that, but I could never wear that, right?
mhm.
So like, it's interesting how we all evolve our own sense of style, right?
I think my situation is a little bit different because I came from a rap artist background. So when I used to go on stage and all that stuff, I basically wore costumes for a living. So it's like, and I call it a costume because my rap name and my rap persona was just that. It was just a persona. And I would put on my jewelry, I would put on my clothes, and I would go out to the stage and perform. So I'm used to having things on that the rest of the people don't have because I always wore something, super creative. But then it's like, I started to carry that into my personal life as well, where it's like if I go somewhere, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to have something on that people never saw before, or if they did, it's something that a lot of people aren't going to wear. Because I just don't gravitate towards things that are too plain or too.
But where do you think that comes from? Like, were you like that in high school? Were you like that as a little kid?
No, I told you, I came from a rap background. I've been rapping since I was in like 5th or 6th grade. And I was always taught that I had to go into a room and command a room without speaking. So that's basically what I have Bungee going after. Like my Bungee materials that I use or my Bungee clothing that I wear is all based off of that same as that thing. You walk into a room and people are going to stop what they're doing to ask you what it is that you're wearing. And if you're not interested in that kind of attention, Bungee brand's not for you. I say that to everyone. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain people that go in and try to get haircuts and say, give me the same exact haircut, but don't make it look like I got a haircut. I want to keep it exactly the way that it is, just lower. I've seen that in the barbershop. So it's just crazy to me how some people just want to just exist and some people want to shine. And I'm one of the people that's going to shine when I walk into a room. It's just that simple.
We all know you're very shiny. But I think because some people are not 100% secure and they don't want to draw attention to themselves because it could backfire. People could clown you.
I mean, it could be that, and it could be people are just, there's some people out there that just feel like they're grown and they feel like I'm going to wear this most plain thing because that's what they're attracted to. You know what I mean? It could be that.
Yeah,
They could be
look
looking
at
at me
me.
like I'm a clown. Yeah, they can be looking at me like I'm a clown. But I don't really care about what other people think about me. I'm going to go out and I'm going to enjoy myself. Like one of the places that I felt the most home at was when I went to Rodeo Drive in LA. They were wearing whatever they wanted to wear, and I felt like I fit in. When it comes time for being like out this way, sometimes I don't feel like I fit in here because I love things that people would never wear. So
Yeah, I think more people dress like me than you out here.
right,
Yeah, I'm pretty conservative.
for sure.
Although, the thing I got the most comments on was my Bungee Obliceni camo jacket.
Yeah, that's
And I
funny.
remember walking into your showroom and I saw it on the rack and I was like, what is that? You remember?
You did, and you claimed it as soon as you saw it.
I sure did.
Yeah, and that's funny because I kind of thought that was going to be one of those pieces that would just, not really blow up. But when we did our Neiman Marcus event, that thing blew. Like I think that was the first thing we sold out of.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah,
Even when I started just wearing it around, like, out to events or remember there was that picture of me that was in Philly style. It was the back of me.
right.
And I had it like cinched with a belt and I was at some event and the fashion photographer was like, can we take your picture? And I'm like, it's because of this jacket that you want my picture, right? And he's like, yeah, can you turn around so we don't see your face? I'm like, absolutely.
That's funny. I'll take all the credit for that.
For sure. For sure. But yeah, and then I would just wear it out and people would stop me and be like, where did you get that? Where did you get that? So that's the first and only time that's ever happened to me.
Right.
But yeah, so I think it's a big moment for Philadelphia. The Eagles are doing really well. And it was really exciting to see Mr. and Mrs. Barkley wearing Bungee USA to their son's big game.
Yeah, I think I had a lot of highlights, man, but that was definitely one of the biggest ones.
Like,
Between
it's so amazing. This thing that you designed, this thing you brought into the world, and then she contacted you
right.
to be like, this has my son's name on it and number. Can I wear it?
Yeah. And the biggest thing that came to mind when she did that was she actually asked if she could purchase it. She didn't ask for it for free. You know,
Well,
like,
that's a class act right there.
yeah, you know, most people would reach out and be like, can you give me this? She reached out and she said that she wanted to pay for it. So, you know, one of the things I love the most about this Saquon Barkley piece is just the fact that so many people love it. And I was definitely worried about the fact that it was too much. So,
And you know what else? It looked amazing on her. It looked amazing on her husband. It looked amazing on Charlie Mack.
it
Who's
did.
like
Yeah.
10 feet tall. Like, so like
Yeah.
for Charlie Mack to be wearing it on social media, and like Charlie Mack's pretty much like the unofficial mayor of Philadelphia, I think,
He
right?
sure is. He sure is. Charlie knows everyone. Like, I was just happy that he had it on and he's like with all these different, you know, major people. He actually blew it up for us. So, I mean, as a matter of fact, Charlie had it on when Saquon was running through the tunnel, and Saquon saw him in the jersey, and they ended up taking a picture. So Saquon saw it. So, you know, I mean, I'm happy, you know, that my work basically started in this room right here, and it ended up, you know, making such a huge deal on social media. I'm just really excited about it. It's crazy.
So if we go to when we go to the Super Bowl, is there anything else you have that you're gonna release?
I can't say that right now, but I guarantee you it's going to be something new. It's definitely going to be something new. You know, I can't, you know, my attention span is too short for me to keep doing the same thing too long. But I definitely have, I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve, so we good.
All right.